Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a country in Central America. It has a population of approximately 5 million people and a land area of 19,714 square miles. The capital of Costa Rica is San Jose. San Jose has approximately 333,980 people living there. Costa Rica is famous for its long-standing and stable democracy. There is a highly educated workforce, with many of whom speak English. The economy, which was once heavily dependent on agriculture, has diversified to include finance, corporate services for foreign companies, pharmaceuticals, and ecotourism. There are progressive environmental policies. Costa Rica is the only country to meet all 5 UNDP, United Nations Development Program, criteria established to measure environmental sustainability. In 2016, Costa Rica was ranked 42nd in the world and 3rd in the Americas in the Environmental Performance Index. Now that we've looked at the introduction to Costa Rica, let's take a look at the history. Christopher Columbus was the first European explorer to encounter Costa Rica on September 18, 1502. The word Costa Rica actually translates to the rich coast. Archaeologists know that civilization existed in Costa Rica for thousands of years before Columbus arrived. There is evidence of human occupation in Costa Rica for over 10,000 years. When Columbus arrived, there were 4 major indigenous tribes living in Costa Rica: the Caribs, Barucas, Chibchas, and Diquis. After the dawn of Spanish colonialism, the natives fled or died from smallpox brought from the Spanish. Therefore, the Spanish brought in African slaves to work the land. The country is known for good relations among the races, but sadly, only 1% of Costa Rica's 3 million people are of indigenous heritage. Of all the Spanish colonies, Costa Rica had the least influence because the Spanish were more interested in Mexico and Peru. These other countries had vast amounts of silver and gold. The first successful establishment of a colonial city was in 1562 when Juan Vasquez de Coronado founded Cartago. Mexico rebelled against Spain in 1821, and Costa Rica, as well as the rest of Central America, followed suit. Later, Juan Mora Fernandez was the first head of state, elected in 1824. He was known for his land reforms and a progressive course that created an elite class of power. Occasionally, there is military rule in Costa Rica. However, it is not similar to the violent extremism that occurs in other parts of Central America. In 1870, General Thomas Gardia seized control of the government and made some of the most progressive reforms in education, military policy, and taxation. The Costa Rican War in 1948 was the bloodiest event in 20th century Costa Rica. This war lasted for 44 days. Approximately 2,000 people died. War erupted after Dr. Rafael Angel Calderón and the United Social Christian Party refused to relinquish power after losing the presidential election. So now that we've looked at the history of Costa Rica, let's take a look at some of the politics in Costa Rica. The structure of Costa Rica government is similar to the system in the United States. It is divided into the 3 branches of executive, legislative, and judicial powers. Costa Rica is a democratic, free, and independent republic. Unlike many of its Central American neighbors, the government in Costa Rica is a stable democracy, with presidential elections every 4 years. The Constitution established the separation of powers similar to the U.S. check and balances. According to the 1969 constitutional amendment, presidents could only serve 1 term. However, in June of 2005, Oscar Arias Sanchez enrolled as a presidential candidate even though he was president in the 80s. After this, the constitutional sector of the Supreme Court declared that reformation of the Constitution was necessary due to the fact that impeding the opportunity for presidential re-election violated the basic rights of citizens. Costa Rica has demonstrated far-sighted environmental leadership by pursuing reforestation, designating 1/3 of the country as protected natural reserves. and deriving almost all of its electricity from clean hydropower. Costa Rica has joined a small group of countries in the Wellbeing Alliance, which is implementing ideas highlighted by the International Commission on the Measurement of Economic Performance and Social Progress for constructing better welfare metrics. With no standing army, the Costa Rican government has poured those funds into public education and preserving the national heritage. There are more than 100 protected areas of reserves, wildlife refuges, and national parks. So now that we've looked at politics and history of Costa Rica, let's take a look at the tourism in Costa Rica. Tourism is very popular in Costa Rica because of the tropical beaches, beautiful nature, and lots of culture. It is also one of the most biodiverse countries in the whole world. Costa Rica enjoys a stable political environment and economic development, which provides visitors with a tranquil setting for their stay. Costa Rica is also one of the few countries in the world without an army. It is a safe country, so tourists do not need to be concerned with the dangers like other countries have. You can relax, adventure, experience culture, and enjoy fine cuisine and see lots of wildlife. One of the most famous tourist destinations in Costa Rica is the Corcovado National Park. It is located on the Osa Peninsula and is known as one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. Visitors also like to visit the Arenal Volcano National Park, which is in the rugged Cordillera de Tilarán. This is one of the top volcano viewing areas in the country. It sees regular activity, and visitors can expect to see anything from a cloud of ash to lava flowing down the mountain. Another popular place in Costa Rica is Monteverde, in the cloud forest. This is a fun place for everyone. People can go on organized hikes, canopy tours, cable cars, and zip lining. Most people will be able to see all kinds of mammals, amphibians, and reptiles. There are so many beaches to choose from in Costa Rica, and each one is more beautiful than the next. So now that we've taken a look at the history, political environment, and tourism in Costa Rica, let's take a look back at what we've learned today. Costa Rica is an absolutely beautiful country. There is so much to do and so many incredible places to visit. The political structure of Costa Rica is similar to that of the United States, with checks and balances. I really enjoyed researching Costa Rica, and I hope one day to be able to visit there. Thank you.